From CRI Simple Numbers, this is Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast, a podcast for those who champion market growth and anchor the nation's economy, small businesses, and entrepreneurs.
Hey there. Welcome to another episode of the Simple Numbers Profitability Playbook Podcast. That's Brandon Gray. I'm Mike Maxon. And man, dude, I feel like we just do this all the time now. It is weekly. I swear we do like 100 of these a week, if you ask me. But
We've had a couple extra lately. You know, we've had a few additional guests join, so hopefully a little more flavor than just you and I on here rambling, and kind of can learn from some other folks.
Well, before we get it going, let's talk about what we did this past week in Phoenix.
Yeah, so we had our Simple Numbers Mastermind, the first session of 2025, and probably the best place that I've been to.
Yes.
This was a 14-bedroom mansion located in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if you're looking for a group retreat, we have found the place. And it had 3 different buildings on the property, an indoor pickleball court, a meeting room that was top-notch, all the amenities you would expect, and the pool. Even though I didn't get
river,
it had a lazy pool. The pool had a legit, we're not talking about like some little moat going around the pool, a legit lazy river with current in it that circled the pool. I mean, it was unreal. So, like I said, if you need to host 15, 20 people and you want a first class place, let us know. We can pass that along. But, the facility was great. I would say the conversation was better. So for those of you who are not familiar with Mastermind, it's a group of our clients that are all high performers. We somewhat hand select. We send invitations out to clients who would qualify for that group. And we meet twice a year. Since they're all Simple Numbers clients, we have all their data. So we share data, go through what's going on inside their company, what's going on with them personally. The group really challenges each other. Especially if you say, hey, I'm struggling at an issue, you're going to get some great group and peer-to-peer coaching. And then the next time we get together, we follow up to see if you put those things into place. And the connections that are made are really phenomenal. This weekend, I was connecting several members of the groups who had questions about one person said something, or, hey, I've got a contact that may help you guys in your business, in your marketplace, whatever it may be there. And even had a little bit of fun. I think we had took clients out to a round of golf, and some did mountain biking, which
I'm almost healed. I still
Mike,
healing.
Mike got a little ding. Every time I turned around, Mike was on the ground. So it was pretty gnarly terrain, but had a little bit of fun and a lot of great time together. So we'll talk about a couple even takeaways from that session. Oh, and by the way, one other thing. Guest speaker this time was Brian Kitching. So Brian started with us as an intern back in 2004. Career in the military, retired, I believe, as a lieutenant colonel. Get this, 10 tours in Afghanistan. Has a master's from Harvard. Worked in both the Trump and Biden administrations in the White House as a liaison to the military. Is with JP Morgan right now. But you talk about a dude. I mean, from a leadership perspective, and he's done some work with the Dallas Cowboys because he's doing a lot of outside speaking now. Could not recommend him enough to come speak to your team. And this guy was tasked with, on one of the deployments, a mission that seemed nearly impossible, to get a group of 100 infantrymen trained up who were out of shape and had low marksmanship. Those were just 2 of the challenge. Plus, they did not have enough people that they needed in the unit. So he got them ready, took them to battle, and that story is phenomenal. I'm not going to go through the details because I don't want to spoil everyone, but a true leader, a true American hero. And, like I said, if you're looking for a top-notch speaker to speak to your team, group, organization, let me know and we'll contact you with Brian.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good times for sure. Well, cool. Well, let's get into one of our topics today is what else, or actually what more can you sell to your existing clients? And so we all know that one of the best sells to make out there is the people you already work with. They know you, they trust you, they've been buying from you before. But a lot of people forget that. A lot of marketing discussion we often have with people is the new business. Obviously, it's needed. You need to get new business. We're definitely not saying that, but a gold mine of more business for your company lies within the people you already work with.
Mhm.
So, Brandon, why don't you kick us off, man? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we've talked several times, and by the way, our monthly coaching call here in March is going to be around marketing. So for our Simple Numbers community model clients, you're going to get some nice insight there. But we've been talking a lot about how difficult marketing is in the current environment, and not to say just because marketing is difficult, you do something different. You should do this all the time, but I think it does amplify the need to make sure that you're reaching out and taking advantage of the customer base that you already have. And these were a couple topics that came up in the mastermind. They're also, I would say, I took a look earlier. One, two, three, four different clients I spoke with in the past 2 weeks. This topic has come up on the call. And many times it starts out with our clients or our customers didn't even realize all that we do.
Yep.
And I did. It's kind of like, well, if I'd known that, if I'd known you did this, then I would have said something. I would. I love working with you guys. I didn't know you guys did that. So I think the first thing is you got to be sure that everyone is aware of what you're currently doing, because so many times they're not. They see you through their lens, and perception is reality. And if all they see is this, they're not looking around at everything else that you can do for them. So making sure that you've got a way to communicate that, and that they understand. And no matter how long they've been a customer or client, they may have no idea of something that you can do for them.
That's right. And I think of what is it, the ABC, always be selling, even though I don't think that C is spelled that way. But anyway,
By the way,
years ago, when I first started here, it sort of I remember doing I think it was one of our lunch and learns, talking with the team. And we do bookkeeping here at Simple Numbers. We do it for consulting clients, right? So we've talked about it before. Our method of working with people is they come in, they engage us for consulting services, and then they're like, "Hey, I could use a bookkeeper." Well, for years, people on our team would be interacting, and they would be like, "Oh man, my bookkeeper's going on maternity leave," or, "Hey, my bookkeeper's not, doing so well, and now we got to go find one." Well, there's your moment.
Yep.
I mean, hey, guess what we do? And especially, and I think this is extremely important to organizations that have a lot of people in client facing roles, where there might not be one person that is just selling or maybe trying to get new business, but it's actually a lot of the responsibility falls within the people in the organization that are consistently interacting with clients, to be on the lookout to say, "Hey, they just mentioned something and I think we can help with that."
Mhm.
And maybe you don't engage them directly, but you come back and you tell someone, "Hey guys, I was just at client so and so, and they totally are looking for this. I
Right.
think we can do that for them." And that's a lot of the part where the opportunity is missed. So there is the marketing component, but I think really the big thing is those conversations with clients, those check-ins, those interactions, those emails, where you see that, holy cow, they have a gap and we can
Yep.
fill it. And so I think that's a huge component of it. More, I think even sometimes more so than just the pure marketing to your own
Oh, yeah,
clients.
definitely got it. Mention the clients having their eyes open. Your team has to as well, and that gets back to knowing your customer, your client. And I had a couple calls this past week where I asked a couple questions. One was with uh, a home services company, and I said, "Hey, what's the average home value that you guys target? What's the median income that you're targeting for one of your customers?" And they said, "That's a great question. We don't know the answer to that." And what brought it about was, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, was that Wall Street Journal article around something around 50% of the discretionary spending taking place in the U.S. is being done by the top 10% of income earners. And so it's kind of that, hey, if you're not hitting, and for this home service, they would be hitting that higher income level. Like, you're not hitting that, and no wonder you guys are struggling. But nonetheless, yeah, getting to know the customer, making sure you understand not only where they are now, but also what are the needs that they're going to be having in upcoming, because they may not need something from you today, but in a year or 2 years, they very likely will. And so kind of understanding that and getting your hands around who they are, what they look like. Um, we had a client spend I would say invest. Invest is a better word, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you spend money and you want it to sound better, you say invest.
Yeah.
So that's kind of those red flags. Anytime I want to call somebody says, "Well, we're going to invest," I'm like, "Oh, well, hang on." But nonetheless, they I think it was 2 years ago, they had a market study performed, and it looked at their existing client base, customer base. It looked at so they kind of were able to form what profile that they were dealing with, and then it went out, and they were once again in home services. It went out into a geographic radius to kind of look at how many folks, how many households, how large was that market, where were they getting their information from, what types of things were they purchasing. It really went in depth, and they came back. They said, "This is who you target." So there was no question as to who the customer, the client that they were going after was.
Yeah, that core customer piece and understanding, if you understand what your core customer is looking for, it's a lot easier then to identify those things, right? So, like, for example, our core customer is entrepreneurial businesses looking to grow and scale, build wealth in and outside of the company. And typically in that mode, there are services that are part of growing and scaling that you need to be thinking about when you talk to them. So those need to either be available or they need to be on everyone's mind to be on the lookout to see if you can get that kind of work.
So I'll give you 4 examples here of additional offerings or things that we've seen our clients put in place really in the past year or so. So the first is a quick oil change company. So they've got several locations in the Southwest. The thing that they noticed was that you've got the automobile there, and the technician's changing oil, and you kind of know how it is as a consumer. You're wanting to just get in, get it taken care of, and get out, and no hassle. That's what at least that's what I'm after. I don't want a 20-minute sales pitch on windshield wipers or this flush or this needs to be done. Like, do I have air in the tires? Are they leaking? Are they low? Oil changed, in and out. And by the way, I hope my dad is not listening. That would really frown down on me for not changing my own oil. So nonetheless, I can do it. I've done it many, many times, but sometimes you're just pinched for time. Nonetheless, so oil change company, what they have realized that they need to expand into was into the tire business and also into automotive repair. But they're not going to do it at their existing facility. They've got sister companies lined up to where it's like, hey, I know tires are bald, you've got nails in them, you got a problem, or hey, when you drove this thing up here, it's making a really funny noise, or you mentioned the AC's not working, whatever it may be. Go talk to these people, sister company. And there's several reasons behind that, because one is they want to stay focused in their locations on optimization and efficiency for oil change. So they're looking at other automotive repair options to where basically you can go ahead and book it at their facility because it's a sister company, but different location that's close by.
And people like being connected, right? Like, I mean, people like the one-stop shop or like sort of that connectivity of service and everything. I mean, I don't necessarily like going to the dealer for the oil change. It's like a little bit more expensive and stuff like that, but I can also get my tires there. I can also get everything there. And but they know it. It's in the system. They knew what they did last time. And so that, that's why we all like our products like Apple, right? I mean, I'm not like a loyalist to anyone, but like I started using it. I didn't have iCloud. I didn't have this over here. I didn't have that. And now it's just like, well,
and most of that level of trust because they've been using this specific location for a long time. They've never caused any issues. They haven't oversold them on a $200 pair of windshield wipers. I mean, they're really, they've done it the right way. And so that's one of the things with an automobile repair is that a lot of folks have distrust. So that's an easy one for them. Another one's a client of ours that provides produce. A lot of it is from South America, the Caribbean, Latin America, produce and not only to wholesale companies, but also to grocery chains. And so one of the things they've been able to do is they were offering their products, and they realized the grocery chains had a large desire to white label. So what else can you white label? Does it have to be just one product? No, it can be multiple. So it was almost a no-brainer. It's like, oh, this is easy. So in doing that, now that's opened the door to several other grocery stores, but it all started with an existing customer who was buying product, and they're like, hey, have you ever thought of white labeling this? Which was perfect. I mean, easy. They're just changing the packaging as far as that part goes. Another client, so this is a big one. Simple Numbers, we've been very guilty of this. We've gotten better. We're still guilty. How much do you give away?
Oh God.
So, and you see this more with just the B2B services. I can't tell you a client of ours that is in B2B services to where they're not giving away a substantial amount of revenue. And I'm not that it's they're doing it deliberately, but most of the time they're wanting to help the client, right? And so it's like,
let me give an example how it goes. Hold on. Let me just tell you this, because we did this to the poor company and it wasn't intentional. IT MSPs, everyone knows I work with a bunch of them. And I told them this when they send these texts on site, because we did it to the poor kid back in the day, right? They come on site and they're like, hey, they're just fixing Brandon's computer. And then I look over and I'm like, hey, bud, come over here. You know,
like that's the same for you. And then yeah. and then
I'm not getting in that van. Show me the candy first. But anyways, I come over like, hey man, come check out this. And then two people down in the cubicle, I'll be like, hey, I actually have that same problem. And then before you know it, a simple battery backup swap just turned into 2-3 hours. And we never saw that on the bill. And I remember actually telling them one time, like, hey, maybe you can send us an invoice for all this extra work you did, just being courteous to them being longtime vendors of ours. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there going, how many people in any client facing role like that? And like Brandon and we just talked about, we're on the phone with clients, and I mean, obviously we're a little different in how we work, but there are extra things I know I have done where I've been like, I probably could have sent an invoice for that. They'd be fine. But, you talk yourself out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sorry, I had to do that because that used to kill me when that would happen. And they would just sit there. They'd be like, man, that was supposed to be a quick thing. And they've been here for 3 hours.
Usually there's something really small and simple. And what happens is you start pulling that thread, and pretty soon you're 2 hours into it. And now you're at the point to where I probably should have raised my hand at the beginning, and I didn't. But I'm too far in to not finish. And because I didn't raise my hand at the beginning, now I just got to complete it and not say anything. That's a lot of time what happens. And so you got to make sure your team is aware of like, okay, I might need to say something. I might need to just go, hey, can you talk? Let me get you in touch with whoever on our team's responsible for the client communications, pricing, projects, whatever it may be, and let them chat with you. Because I'm not sure exactly, what all this may entail. And just doing that. It's not that the people don't want to pay. It's not, like you said, we would have paid it. We'd gladly paid it. It's just that no one brings it up. And so the last one, I'll give it an example. So this was a software company that we work with. And whenever their software was deployed, they offered tech support, which is a great thing. You need some help. But they did not put any parameters around it. And so there was their intention of tech support should take place about this amount of time from this time to this time, but they never discussed that. And so, they were a year and a half in and somebody's calling tech support for a problem that, really was the purchasers doing. And now they felt obligated to fix it. And so they changed to a block of training hours and a deadline by which to use them in.
Oh, that's a good one.
You got 60 training hours. And your clock starts today, and you have until the end of the quarter to use the training hours. And if you need more than 60, you can buy another block. If you don't use all the 60, then, hey, wish we could have, helped you more, but you didn't need the help. And so they put the parameters around it, and it's been amazing to see how many times folks have come back either needing an additional block of time or, hey, it's 6 months later and they've changed half their team over and now they need to redo the training. Okay. Another block. So, and these are all just very small things, but whenever you compare the ease of getting that revenue and margin versus going out and finding the next new person, it's massive.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
You know,
So,
then a lot of those.
a lot of those times that people are like, "Man, thought you'd never ask. Didn't know you did that. Free that's so much easier." And sometimes I think of just IT companies where, and I use them because these are things they had to start doing. Where, hey, clients would go order their own computers and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I'll order them. We'll do them. We'll do a. I actually talked to one the other day that was ordering for their clients, and they were just sending the clients, "Hey, we ordered this for you." And I go, "Hey, man, why don't it does take effort for you to pull up the internet, look in there, and place the order, do all that stuff." I go, "Why don't you just charge, procurement fee for your clients?" And I go, "I guarantee you, not one of them are going to bat an eye because you're doing it instead of them." And that fee on there to procure those things, even though it's very not, there's still effort for your time. And I go, "You got to bill for that."
Definitely. Yeah.
They had convinced themselves that it wasn't much. And I go, "Now think about," if you have 100 clients and you do that for every one of them, add in all the time, I bet you a significant amount of time.
And the cash flow implication, and someone had to
Yes.
keep up with who had what. Yeah, it's massive. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
well, send them to us if you've got things that you've seen as great little add-ons to your existing service or product offering. Shoot them to us. We'd love to hear them. We can share them on
Yeah.
our podcast. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, that's all we got today. Nice, quick, easy one. Good topic to talk about. And, obviously we'll be back again shortly here with probably another guest or another episode. So, we'll all be talking to you soon.
If you want to know more about driving sustainable profitability for your business or are interested in learning more about CRI Simple Numbers, please visit our website at simplenumberscri.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast. You can subscribe to Profitability Playbook on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. If you liked what you heard today, please leave us a review. The views expressed on Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast, are those of the presenter and moderator and do not necessarily reflect the views of CRI Simple Numbers or the CRI family of companies. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional advice received directly. Consult with your CRI Simple Numbers advisor or another trusted professional if you have questions about your specific situation.